find the show more readily and content like it helps us get done what we need to get done, and others find it if that's your cup of tea. May not be. If it's not for you, just move it along. Just move it along. But if it is, celebrate and help others do the same. Hey, look at this. Look at this fancy camera you got here, Tom Wang. Look at this here. Oh, man, I look like a movie star. Look at, I mean, I always had a little something for the camera, but now in 4K, you get to see
Clark Gable over here.
Clef in the chin. You get to see it all. It's really impressive. So
that's Gene Williams, man. He ordered it. Sent it to my house.
Thank you. And I think in the very near future, it's going to be even better. I'm going to install some software, I'm told, with this. You know me and software. You got to have the software, Tom. It's key. Also, it's not enough just to have the equipment piece itself. You got to have the proper software to go with.
Yep. And firmware. There's also firmware.
It's important. There are aspects of your life where both are necessary, Tom. Software and firmware. So it is that we have it. You know, we weren't on the air yesterday, and my apologies for that. Not really. I'm not apologizing. That's disingenuous. We weren't on the air yesterday is a better way of saying it. And then I would tell you that on Wednesday, of course, Tom and I had already done the show. But I thought that was a good show. It was a fun show to do. We weren't on the show yesterday. Went out of town. You and I did. We were asked to go out of town to be a part of a larger group of guys that it was sort of a business thing here without going into too much detail and all that. But we played a little golf there at the Robert Trent Jones golf course. Well, they have so many golf courses, but a golf course. And it was a great time both days. A lot of golf.
Oh, yeah.
Excessive amount of golf. That's fine.
Which is a good thing.
It's a good thing. Yes, not a bad thing. I don't mean it that way. But, you know, you feel it today. You feel it today. And people might say, man, don't regale us with all your damn golfing while we were working. Don't do that on a Libations Friday, loosey-goosey. So, you know, yes, by the way, Swiss Irish, that is where we went. They're right by Dothan. Highland is
Highland Oaks.
Yep. Highland Oaks is where we were. And some good, some bad, what have you. So all of it, that's what golf is, right, in terms of the play. But I thoroughly enjoyed it. The point is, thanks to that group and thanks to all those guys, but I was bringing this up for the reason that I use these opportunities. A lot of the guys there, not all, a lot of the guys there are Florida State guys, Florida State graduates and or fans, alumni, boosters, people of the community, whatever it might be, right, that have a vested interest in Florida State in some capacity. And even the ones that didn't, maybe went to other schools, are interested in that conversation. And I always use it as a chance to kind of gauge where Florida State's fan base and boosters are. Like, where are they mentally? Where are they? What kinds of questions are they asking?
And some of these guys on the trip can do something about it.
Oh, buddy.
Yeah,
they can do a lot about it. But they really did kind of ask the kinds of questions that I think people all over the country in a weird way are asking, to be honest with you, because they're wondering, where do they put their money? What do I do? What do I do? I had a guy on the trip say that, and he's a guy that could do something about what we're talking about and has been very successful. Florida State graduate, diehard Nole, doesn't live in Florida, but wants to give back, goes to the games, flies in, like that kind of guy, you know, goes to away games, those kinds of things. And he said, I don't know, you know, a lot of times I don't know what to do anymore because I want to give back. I'm proud of my university and how far we've come academically. And of course, I care deeply about the athletics, in particular football. And I do really think that that's where everybody's at anymore. It's sort of do I give my money to the boosters? Because for years, that's what we did. We gave the money to the boosters and said, make it happen. You know, like whatever needs to happen, facilities or otherwise. Or do I give the money to the players because this is a dawn of a new day and we got to get good players? And it's, you know, everywhere you look, every day you wake up, there's another story about a high profile player leaving one place to go to another place. And however you read between the lines there, invariably, it's about how a guy has an opportunity to, frankly, make a lot of money by going to this other place. And so they are talking about tax implications and everything else of that. And it's just a lot of people feel betwixt in between. And I think Florida State fans in general, the Florida State program, all of that, that's not singular to Florida State University. That's at a lot of places. But we're at a critical mass. We're at a place now where the thought of this group, no matter how supportive, and I will say this again, no matter how supportive they are of Mike Norvell and staff, you notice the emphasis on this upcoming season. Like, we can't say it enough. The money people, like, hey, man.
That's not a media thing.
That's not a media thing.
It's a mover and shaker thing.
It's very much so. Now, what is interesting, and I've brought this up many times, the reality of Florida State's situation is such that Mike Norvell, short of a catastrophe, is not being let go at the end of this year. So 6-6, 5-7, 4-8, not being let go. Now, to be sure, if something disastrous like that happened, the vast majority, even the most unwavering supporters up to this point of Florida State, Mike and his staff, would either have second doubts or be outright emphatic about wanting to move on if that were to happen. Fine. It's not likely to happen. Again, it would have to be something absurd. They would have to just be clearly into the side of the mountain, 2-10. What are we doing? We're just, you got to move on, right? Kind of, it would have to be something like that. And I don't think that's going to happen. But those guys are all realists. They're pretty pragmatic. As much as they love him, they're like, yeah, but I've heard you say that he would be a dead man walking. Do you believe that's? I'm like, yes, I'm not saying it to say it. I do believe it would be true. I mean, now there are people,
jock.
Yeah, there'd be people who disagree with me, but they're wrong. And so that's fine. That's fine. People are wrong all the time. And it's okay. You got to allow for that. But they get it. They get it. And so, man, it just further ratcheted up my enthusiasm and excitement surrounding like every day that goes by as we're now in May. Now, May is on the fringes of I can see it from here. It's not quite I can see it from here, but it's on the fringes because May will be gone before you know it. And then when it is, you're like, oh, yeah.
Then it's your birthday.
Yeah, then it's my birthday in June, and everybody uses that as a cornerstone of the summer. They kind of look at it. They look at it, and they kind of say, all right, well, today is Jeff's birthday. And usually we always celebrate Jeff's birthday and wherever you are celebrating my birthday, whoever that is out there. It's like you come home. Do you know it's Jeff Cameron's birthday? I did know that. Yeah, we mark it on the calendar. That's the conversation.
I'm taking Friday off for Jeff's birthday.
Jeff's birthday.
Well, I'm a Monday guy. I like to take the next Monday off. For
whatever floats your boat for that birthday celebration. It's kind of a holiday, especially in Tallahassee.
It's a national debate.
Everybody kind of celebrates my birthday, June the 11th, in their own way. And I'm not here to tell you how to celebrate my birthday, just so long as you do. Whatever day that, you want to do that on a night, you want to do that a Saturday afternoon, you want to make it a full weekend. Maybe you get together with your extended family on my birthday and you go to New Orleans and celebrate my birthday. However you want to do that. I'd pick a different city this year because we're going to be there for the LSU game. So maybe go to Vegas, but whatever that might be.
I celebrated your birthday last night at Corner Pocket.
Yeah. I'm glad that you did.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
it's a great time.
Kudos to Stephanie, who you were there to help celebrate along with my birthday.
Right.
And we love Stephanie, and I did not make it. And she's probably going to be ornery about that, and I understand. But, Tom, I'm an older man than you, and I was very tired, tuckered by the golf. I kind of figured I needed to be home with the family. Plus, Corner Pocket couldn't be further away from my home than it is. It really could. It's a toughie for me. It's nowhere near me. And we drove back from Alabama, and that's it.
And it's got tentacles, too.
It does. And
they
found you. They found you last night.
What are you talking about?
Wrapped their arms around you. So anyhow, however you were celebrating my birthday, I'm glad you had a good time. Looking forward to my birthday while honoring Stephanie's night. That's good of you. So congratulations, Stephanie. I would say that that's a marker for a lot of people of it's about to be go time. Now, you and I might look at it as just a singular way to celebrate me, but a lot of other people see it as the jumping off point. And next thing you know, buddy, it's July. We're in Charlotte. We're at the ACC kickoff. Here we go.
Yeah, it's basically when it's your birthday, it's all right, whatever you're going to do, get it done in terms of vacationing or whatever. Because now, especially this year, the kickoff in Charlotte on the 20th of July, we're going to come back home and camp's going to start. It has to start a week earlier this year.
Started 2 weeks earlier.
Right. July is actually football season.
Yeah. No, I love it. I love it when that happens. So, by the way, I'm laughing here on the chat. Folks are making me laugh here. Thank you, Swiss Irish. I appreciate you. I celebrate your continued existence almost every day. El Jefe. Thank you, Swiss Irish.
We got to get you an El Jefe shirt.
Yeah, and I like that Live Spectator threw up the Alabama Slammer,
which exists in Dothan.
We drove past it, and I pointed to it and went, this is the greatest thing ever." I almost wanted to say, slow the van down. Slow the van down. There's the Alabama Slammer right there. Well, I'll be if this ain't the Alabama Slammer himself. It made me laugh. Oh, that's good. Point is, May's tough, but hang in there, kids. We're all eagerly anticipating. We got to get there. But in the interim, there'll be plenty of intrigue. And there will be plenty to do with, and in particular, I think it's true of both FSU softball, which once again,
that's all they do.
That's all they do is kick ass. This time it's a sweep. Suck it, Florida. It's a beautiful thing to watch time and again. They do it in dramatic fashion. That's a fun program. Good for them kicking ass again. It's just got to be where I take it for granted. We take it for granted, almost like the soccer team. You just take it for granted. Well, they're going to be great. National championship great or runner-up great. That's the kind of great we talk about. Either we're going to win it all or come up just short. One of those two. Not like, okay, do we got a shot to win the conference? Conference. You better get ready for those ass kickings. The rest of these teams, you're playing for second. Everybody else gets that, right? They're like, if you're a fan of Virginia, you're like, can we finish 500? Yeah, no. Here it's like national championship, maybe. Lose to Oklahoma, possible.
Right, yeah.
Did you watch them last night?
Oklahoma?
Mm-hmm.
You watched Oklahoma softball last night.
Against Oklahoma State.
Breaking news, please, lower third. Breaking news, Jeff watched Oklahoma softball. Wow.
Well, I watched not all that game. It was Oklahoma State. Of course, we took on Oklahoma State earlier in the year. I'm very well aware.
Yeah, a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. So I thought, let's see where this Oh, people on the chat. There it is.
And they weren't playing Florida State. That's the stunner.
They were playing Oklahoma State.
Bedlam.
I'm gauging. Well, first of all, I'm rooting for Oklahoma to beat Oklahoma State. But secondly, I'm gauging just where, we know what that program is. I see only them as our competition. Nobody else. It's Oklahoma. Everybody else, come get your whooping. So,
and we're the underdogs, decidedly.
We are decided underdog. And I wanted to see to what degree, if I could evaluate that properly in just a singular sitting. I'm not multiple days worth of Oklahoma softball or any softball for that matter, but you got me for tonight as I'm fading to sleep here in the early evening, tired as I was, not celebrating Stephanie's party. And so I did. I watched a little bit, and one thing I realized that if you have to play in Norman, it feels like they're on top of you. That all those cowpokes are right there on top of you. Old people. You know how FSU baseball features an audience of overwhelmingly old fans of the game. It's just that if you walk through there, walk past section B, and you're looping back around towards the third baseline,
any staircase at Hauser, just you got to wait. You're going to be waiting.
Take your time. As you're going through and you're walking, one thing I noticed is that if you survey the landscape at Hauser, you're like, oh, that guy be dead next year. This guy, that's kind of how, that's what you're, yeah. No, it's all internal dialogue, of course. Yeah. You don't say it aloud.
That's your dialogue.
Yeah, my dialogue is, this is the last game he might see. And then others, I'm like, well, I hope they do it this year for him. That kind of thing. That's the way I look at it a lot of times. But they don't get any older than they do in Norman. Holy moly, they're fans of softball in Norman. I was watching the camera pan last night for that game, Oklahoma State. I was like, there's nobody under the age of 88. Like, that it was unreal. The people, at least behind home plate, the people with the good seats. Whew. I mean, goodness gracious. I'm going to point it out to you next time.
I guess they're leaving the Oklahoma softball program in their will. Those folks. That's why they get the good seats.
Funding it well. Last year, or was it the year before? I can't remember. You have a wonderful disdain for Oklahoma's head coach.
Yeah, I do.
And the best part is I had forgotten.
I don't know her name, but yeah. I've got disdain.
I had forgotten about that. I'd forgotten how much you hate the head coach at Oklahoma for softball. And I'm watching the game, and there's a play at second base where they're challenging the call. The girl's trying to turn a double play, and the thought from Oklahoma was that she didn't touch second before throwing to first. And so I'm watching the replay. Turns out Oklahoma's right, unfortunately, in this situation, because the coach had came out and was like, da, 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 da. Well, in that moment, I too learned to hate her. It wasn't a simple challenge. She had to be sort of erudite about it. Yeah. Like it was like, kind of a look at me moment.
Yeah. Back in the day when we had Westwood One at the old place of employment, she did an interview and she's indignant, like as though it's an even playing field. It's the same problem that Gino had with UConn for years. Like you're treating this like it's a fair fight. Stop that. You know that all the pressure's on you. It's supposed to be by default your title every single year. Don't act like this is a 50-50, round here. Stop that nonsense.
Yeah, you're the prohibitive favorite.
Yes, easily.
Well, you got the better players.
You get 10 of the top 12 players every year. So, yeah, they're UConn basketball.
Now, listen, though. Let me just say this, though, by the way. You're not – so in that situation –
and it's sports hate, folks, just –
Yeah, well, come on.
Yeah,
we don't have to explain the show to people. Either they get it or they don't. And get the hell up out of here if they don't. But what I would tell you is that –
Patty Gasso, thank you, director.
Tom hates Patty Gasso.
Yeah. Couldn't remember her name.
Yeah. I'm not a big fan, but I don't I guess what I would say is this. If you build something to that extent, you're going to receive the wrath of fans who aren't Oklahoma fans or any like Gino Ariyama.
I'm not trying.
Yeah.
Not today.
So at UConn, okay, yeah, I got it, man. But you still deserve credit. You still get the credit that's due you if you build a behemoth, a juggernaut of that. It's just that everybody wants to knock you off, and rightfully so. And because the Noles happen to be one of those teams equipped to have a shot at doing so and actually acquitted themselves quite nicely when they had the opportunity,
they should be embarrassed they went to a third game.
Well, now, see, that's you.
Losers.
Now, you're just talking from the standpoint, again, of the garnet and the gold. They did win the championship as expected. How you do it doesn't really matter as long as you do it if you have the better team. And they did. But you're right. She shouldn't choose the opportunity to seem like she's indignant about the fact that people are asking her how hotly contested the games have been, almost as if she's implying that Florida State got lucky to win a game. You're like, okay, man, don't do that.
Your expectations are perfection. You shouldn't lose a single game all year, softball or not.
So I'm moving forward here. Yes, there's been breaking news all throughout the beginning here. The
quote unquote breaking news.
I was watching softball last night. Yes, it happened. I did. I watched, and I noticed the ancient ass crowd, Norman, and it just stuck with me all day. Like, I wonder if that guy woke up this morning. I couldn't believe the age of the people behind home plate there. I was like, it made me feel better about going to Hauser. It's like, all right, we look relatively frisky compared to the group out in Norman. We do.
70 is the new 60.
Florida State's got a nothing series this weekend. It's kind of like everybody take a deep breath and chill out with your family and enjoy Mother's Day this weekend. Enjoy Mother's Day this weekend.
It's up in Chestnut Hill. I produced baseball games for Lulu back in the day.
I thought he was going to die. He almost froze to death. They almost felt that the booth almost came down.
The booth was a trailer on top of a parking garage.
Yeah, and he's a very big man, and that booth was shaky to begin with. And
yeah, one of his calls, he goes, and the booth just moved on the 2-2 pitch. My desk has moved.
He could probably, if he's listening, he could probably tell us, well, he's not in town. But if he were, I remember one night laughing, because I know him very, very well and have for a long time. When he was freezing while doing the game, like his dumbass forgot to bring a jacket and they didn't have, and I mean that lovingly, he didn't bring a jacket for some reason.
It's a salty Friday.
He didn't bring a jacket for some reason and they couldn't close the window. And all I remember is somewhere around the 5th or 6th inning, he's like, it is bitterly cold. It's the Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV. Ain't no NFL fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future. Refreshing and simple. 2 words you don't hear many people use to describe their experience going through the process of getting a home loan. That's what puts the Hamilton Home Loans experience in a category all their own. If you're buying or refinancing a home, Hamilton Home Loans will provide a personalized mortgage experience that is dedicated to making the process refreshingly simple. It all begins with an initial consultation with an experienced Hamilton Home Loans advisor to find out what your goals are in order to find the right mortgage to suit your specific needs. Then, your personal home loan advisor will take you through all the steps from application, underwriting, approval, and closing, all the way to the front steps of your new home. Once you've experienced the Hamilton home loan process, you can be a customer for life and never have to pay lender fees again. For first responders, nurses, physician assistants, teachers, active and retired military, ask about the Hamilton for Heroes program. Personalized attention with your needs put first. Now that's refreshingly simple. Find out more at HamiltonHomeLoans.com. That's HamiltonHomeLoans.com.
Equal housing lender. NMLS number 200719.
The weather is unpredictable and can cause issues around your home. Weston Trawick provides commercial, residential, and industrial electrical wiring services, yearly inspections on fire alarms, portable generator sales, and so much more. With 24/7 emergency service and repair, Weston Trawick will be your calm in the storm. Give them a call at 514-0003. Weston Trawick. Professional electrical services day or night. Visit online at westontrawick.com.
When your AC unit decides to give up the ghost, it doesn't always pick the best time. But no matter what time, day or night, or day of the week, you can call E&B Heating and Air Conditioning. We'll be out to bring your AC unit back to life. We've been repairing and replacing heating and air conditioning systems in the North Florida and South Georgia area since 1974. So when your air conditioner stops working, call E&B Heating and Air Conditioning to the rescue.
Hey, this is Dustin Rivest. During the pandemic, I noticed restaurants struggling with online ordering and watched as all the major third parties took advantage of our local restaurants and thought there must be a better way, which is why I created foodiestakeout.com. The unique thing about Foodies Takeout is that restaurants keep 100% of their order revenue versus splitting upwards of 30% with the third parties like Uber Eats and Bite Squad. At Foodies Takeout, you can find some of your favorite restaurants, such as Jerry's Midtown Cafe, Miss D's Kitchen in Frenchtown, Casa Grande, and even El Jalisco. Or if you're on the north side of town, check out Horizons Bar and Grill. Why not give us a try? Head to foodiestakeout.com or text foodies to 230-9456, and I'll even give you 10% off your first meal. Supporting local restaurants has never been easier. Visit foodiestakeout.com.
Here we go. Your next chance to grow your green this spring and win $1,000 is coming up at 2 p.m.
I just won $1,000.
Listen for the keyword at the top of the hour. Then enter that keyword online at realtalk93.com.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
Tom, how you guys plan to turn it around. But I'm looking forward to the opportunity today after we go off the air on a Friday talking to Jameis Winston. Jameis has agreed to do an interview with me, and we're going to do that this afternoon. Now, it is after 3 o'clock that we will conduct the interview, but you'll get to hear it and see it, and we'll make it part of the show early next week, and we'll put it on the website as well. It's going to be a video interview. So Jameis will join us, and
we're talking about Jameis Winston.
and I'm looking forward to talking to him. Obviously, it's been a good offseason for Jameis, and not only did he graduate from Florida State, so that's why it's relevant, but if you've seen the videos of him working out, he looks to be in tip-top shape coming off that injury.
I miss chunky Jameis.
Maybe after the career,
yeah,
the playing days are over.
Throw out a first pitch.
Yeah.
Like old times.
It was great to see him back in town and to see him go over to the baseball facility and talk with Chip and that. It'll be fun. He always had a soft spot. I think deep down, these are my words, not his necessarily. But I think Jameis had a love for baseball that is right up there, if not exceeding his love for football over the years.
I think he'll try and be a relief pitcher when it's done in the NFL. I think he'll give it a shot.
Well, I remember at the height of his powers as a baseball player, he threw a 88 to 91 mile per hour slider, and that's the dumbest thing ever. That is MLB plus caliber stuff, but he did so as a weighty individual,
right? Yes. Have you noticed that Chunky Jameis and Chunky Pedro kind of look the same with the it's cheeks, like the stubby chin, with the goatee?
Oh man, yeah. So anyway, I look forward to talking to him today as soon as the show concludes, and then you guys will get to hear that next week and see it as well. We'll post it on the website on Warchant TV. But I think he's actually due for a good season, and they've given him some extra weapons. They needed somebody to stretch the field when you consider that Thomas is not a guy that stretches the field. So you needed somebody who does. So,
and he's a malcontent too. So you got that problem.
He's unreliable is what he is. He's rarely, I think, ready for action. It's frustrating. I'm not talking about Jameis, I'm talking about Thomas.
Yeah.
So,
and then Traquan and him didn't get along in Seattle. It's easy, Traquan.
Oh man. Well, all I know is, I think if you go back and look at what was transpiring towards the end of last year with Peyton on his way out, he could not have said more in the way of glowing things about Jameis, the player and the professional, and what the team was set up for than he did. He seemed to think that was going to be a perfect transition.
Yeah, he was going to have a day against Tampa too. They ended up winning, but Jameis was going to have a day. Was it Halloween against the Buccaneers that he got hurt?
Yeah,
that last throw was unbelievable.
Well, yeah, he was well on his way, right? He was playing exceptionally well, and he was having a good start to the year. One thing, this is just me talking out loud here. I am curious, and I don't know that I'm going to bring this up per se, but I am curious about something because in his career, he's a guy that is proven, and I would say this about any quarterback of this ilk. There are very few people that possess the kind of talent he does. Now, there are real highs with his game, and there are some real lows with his game, and we know that. But when he is operating at peak efficiency, when he's playing well, he's a top 5 quarterback. When he's playing well, when you combine the arm strength, the aggressiveness, the physical toughness, he's a really strong guy in the pocket, can move outside. He proved to be a more adept runner than people thought he was. The version of him that got down and stopped taking hits and putting his body at risk as often as he was, and the version of him that really forced defenses to defend the entirety of the field, that there are stretches of games where he threw for over 500 yards against the Rams, for example. Games like there aren't that many people, I don't care modern rules or not, that can throw for 500 yards in an NFL football game and look like he did that day, right? Now, there weren't enough of those days strung together.
Right, on a given day.
On a given day, right.
Yeah, I'll give you top 10 quarterback consistently at the top of his game, but on a given Sunday, he could be the best.
Yeah, on a given day. To show you that when you have that kind of ability and it all comes together and the matchup is right and they're protecting you on that day and your confidence is brimming and all those, he can be that. Now, we've also seen Jameis throw 4 and 5 picks in a game, and at that point, no matter what you think, you would be rating near the bottom. So we've seen the extremes. But what I think is interesting, and I don't think this is going to be the crux of the interview, is that when you're that player when you're a feast or famine player, it's almost like a guy. We use a lot of golf analogies on this show, and that's because I think in many ways they can be relatable, maybe not to even you who doesn't golf. There's a certain mentality that you have to go low. And we know there are guys, even world-class players who win a lot of tournaments, who really can't go low. They're not going to shoot a 60. They're not going to shoot a 61. They're not going to shoot a 59, right?
Well, it's akin to gambling, too, in a casino.
Right.
Like if you're on a heater, are you doubling down or are you tucking some money away?
Protecting your money.
Right.
And that goes to the psychology of a player and a person. And they've done studies on golfers who go low. And I'm going to bring this back to football in a second. The kind of mentality they have, the guy that's capable of shooting a 59, the guy that's capable of shooting a 62 in a major, the person that's capable of that views the early successes of the round as a freedom factor. It is giving them a freeing up. It allows them to be more aggressive and take risks as opposed to protecting. So if I'm 3 under through 3 and I've got a shot to get to the green in 2 on a par 5 on number 4, and I'm already 3 under, it almost defines in the moment the kind of player you are. Do I just decide, you know what, the chances I'm able to carry this 3-wood to get it there over water is 30%. The reward is immense if I'm able to do this, right? But I've already got 3 in the bank. Do I just lay it up here and play for birdie and just hope to get up and down or whatever it might be, right? Or do I say, well, if I don't pull it off and I go in the water, all right, I'll give a stroke back. I'm still 2 under through 3. It's all right. I can get it back. That mentality decides kind of who you are, right? Jameis, to me, is the guy that's pulling the 3-wood out in that moment. I'm going to take this shot because I believe I can make this happen. And we have a lead, or I'm throwing to Mike Evans, or I've got a guy who I trust here. And if I pull this off, that could be the dagger. That could be you're down 2 scores, 3 scores now in the second half because I took that chance and didn't check down. Some of the time you want to say, don't do that. We have a 10-point lead. The only thing that's going to get them back in the game is you forcing this ball down the field. Same with the player on a Sunday with up 3. Don't pull out the 3-wood here. You don't need it. Let's lay up, partner, and go from here.
Make tin cup.
Yeah, well, make them come get you. Look where Sunday pins are. They're not coming to get you. You're playing from the lead. And if they do, then we'll change our strategy on the back if it happens. But for now, don't give them fuel. How hard is it to either dial it back and find a middle ground or to say, no, that's who I am, man. This is how I play. This is how I play. And
that's where, as a coach, you call a run. Well, I'm taking the decision out of your hands.
Well, yeah, and an awful lot is on the coordinator in that moment. An awful lot is on an OC in that moment to decide, like, I know my guy. I can never ask him to be this other thing. I really don't want to because some of what makes him different is that he is willing to make that throw and can execute that throw. But also, it also makes him occasionally a liability. So now as a play caller, I got to really, it's on me. It's on me. Because as we've referenced Jimbo before, it's easier to say whoa than giddy up. And so at that point, you're the one saying whoa by what play you call.
Right. And Bruce was in all caps saying giddy up the one season.
All the time. But what bothered me to this day, now look, it worked out. And you ended up getting, Tom Brady. And there's a guy that, listen, nobody's confusing any quarterback with the greatness of Tom Brady. But in that season, those numbers are extreme on both ends. They're extremely good on the one end and terrible on the other. And it was must-see television. There's no doubt about that. He could win you a game with his arm and he could lose you a game with his arm. And that's how that went. But it always bothered me that the coach pretty much said, I don't care about those interceptions. Keep throwing it. Even as the receiving core was decimated by injury. I'm like, man, that's where I feel like if I were in the inner circle, I would have been like, hey, man, don't do that.
Yeah, the Lions game.
Don't do that.
The Lions game was enough. If he shut it down after that Lions game, he would have been a Buccaneer still.
I think that's probably true,
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. If they really thought even after that they could get Tom Brady, It's tough to know. It's tough to know. But you certainly had a better chance to be. But I mean, you got like a bunch of slappies out there we've never even heard of at the end of the year. And then
he opened the Houston game on that Saturday with a pick six.
Yeah,
And you're like, oh, no. And
go.
Rich Eisen's like, he's done it again.
Yeah. Oh, man. The mentality, I find it fascinating. I wonder what coaches do with he was obviously dialing it way back to start last year.
It's just so strange, too. What a stat that his first play as a Buccaneer was a pick six against Tennessee, and his final play was a pick six against Atlanta.
Oh, as a Buck?
As a Buck.
And in between, he set the record for touchdowns and yards.
Oh, yeah. Listen.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I'm pro Jameis.
No, but I was saying, like actually to complete the resume, it's fascinating, right? There's that. It's so perfectly symmetrical.
It's perfectly him. Yes.
30-30
is him.
Yeah. In between, records were broken. Good and bad records.
Were broken. Taking a lot of swings here.
Yeah. It's Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
The Florida Highway Patrol says a building was damaged Thursday morning after a crash between two semi-trucks on US 90 in Madison County. The first semi tried to turn right onto US 90 in front of the second vehicle. The driver swerved to the left to try to avoid a crash. The right front of the second semi flipped the left front of the other semi, which then collided with the building on the northeast side of the intersection. The Madison County building inspector was called to the scene and condemned the building. No injuries were reported, and the driver of the semi that turned onto US 90 got a ticket for violating the right-of-way. The Jackson County Sheriff's Office responded to a shooting in the Bascom area Thursday morning. When emergency officials responded to the shooting, they found one person dead. The suspect is the son of the victim. Court records show the suspect is identified as 21-year-old Logan Chandler. Officials say they believe this was an isolated incident and there is no danger to the community. This is Rachel Lene with your Real Talk 93.3 Local News Update. Brought to you by Macklemore Systems. Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Overcast skies this afternoon with a chance for scattered storms. Daytime highs approaching 84. Winds out of the southwest 10 to 15 miles per hour. Partly cloudy skies tonight. Chance for scattered thunderstorms. Lows level off around 67. Mainly clear skies and quiet tomorrow. Highs level off around 86. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 78.
Sellers Tile does it better for business owners, contractors, designers, and homeowners. Better design ideas, better quality tile, carpet, and hardwood flooring, better mosaics, ceramic, and vinyl solutions. And Sellers makes it easier with their amazing showroom and first-class professionals. Maybe it's time to get Sellers working for you on Capitol Circle Northeast, just north of Mahan Drive, or online at sellerstile.com for better style, quality, and design. Go with Sellers in Tallahassee. Call 656-8453.
Well. Hey, Jeff, look at this place.
Yeah. Well, doing well. It's been a while since I've seen you, brother, but, it hasn't been a while since I've been over to Gordo's. I go there on the regular because of you, Eddie.
Well, we keep you regular.
Well, that's true, but I think of Gordo's as a place to sit down, have a cold beer, talk to your friends, enjoy the sports, eat the delicious food. But I think of you as Uncle Eddie, a man who takes care of his people and takes care of the town.
I appreciate that, Jeff. Hey, and we'll keep you regular.
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
It's Congressman Michael Waltz on the Greg Tish Show.
Good morning, Congressman. How are you doing?
Hey, doing well.
Again, just what you have to go through day in and day out. I don't know how you have hair left, or like Matty Rowe, just completely bald.
Hey,
sorry.
And the irony of it all, the progressives are the tail wagging the dog. This whole bipartisan White House is a joke. We're just watching them eat their own.
The Greg Tish Show, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m., only on Real Talk 93.3. The Jeff Cameron Show is sponsored by the legendary team at Hamilton Home Loans. Great rates, cutting-edge technology, and transparent communication is the recipe for a 5-star mortgage experience at FSUHomeLoans.com.
Reminder to call my friends at T-Spark Construction if you need anything involving a build out or a roof, certainly. And at T-Spark Enterprises, roofing and construction, they believe in doing things the right way. They believe in doing things the safe way. Employees undergo regular safety training and are constantly being educated on new techniques, new materials, such as becoming a master metal applicator one day. So if you're considering a metal roof, they're long-lasting and durable, and T-Spark Enterprises Roofing and Construction are the best in town at installing. So give me a call today at 766-1340, 766-1340. Get a free quote today at tsparkconstruction.com.
Got an interesting question in the chat.
Okay.
From Barbie. Barbie videos for kids, I guess. But it's a headlines-esque question. If every non-football FSU team won the title in the same calendar year, national championship.
Baseball, basketball.
Yep.
Wow. Tennis and swimming.
But football couldn't be better than a record of 6-6 for 5 full years. Would you make the trade?
Why did we have to go with 5 years? I thought this was going to be so simple. The way the buildup was happening there, it sounded like we were going to be asked a straightforward, can you fall on the sword with a 500 campaign while Leonard Hamilton and Mike Martin Jr. get their titles? Because the answer is, hell yeah, we've sucked long enough. I can suck for one more year. That's fine. Get me a title in tennis and basketball and baseball and another one in soccer and sports I never watch at all. Yes, let's do all of that. I like national titles. But 5 years? No, man. Can't do 5 years. It's like I can't personally do 5 years. I know there's coaches and everybody. I mean, I can't do it. 5 more years of having to talk about average to poor football? No.
Yeah, it's a no for the city of Tallahassee.
I think so. Restaurants, hotels, the hotels. I don't care about the hotels. Screw them. But yeah.
Except for Hotel Indigo, which was an excellent place to
Oh,
do a
I'm
show.
sure there are individuals running hotels all over this great city of ours that are wonderful to work with. I just hate the minimums and all that.
Except at Indigo, of course.
Of course. So I was sick that day, Tom. I know nothing. I'm just
fantastic.
I'm just kidding. A little breezy. It's not Indigo's fault. Yeah. So I couldn't do 5 years.
Yeah, 5 is tough.
Ooh, that's jail. That's a long time.
If you could repeat the feat of championships again in the span of 5 years, so it happens 2 out of the 5 years that you do a clean sweep, I might make the trade. But if you only get 1 year of glory and then you roll the dice the other 4 years, no, can't do it.
Can you imagine the headlines like, what is going on with FSU football? I mean, quite literally every other program is winning national championships. This is not hyperbole. They are winning national championships, and they cannot get to 500 in football.
Yeah. It's tough, though, because you flesh it out and you think,
it's
baseball
awesome.
would finally get over the hump.
Twice.
We'd weep for Coach Ham. Trey would win.
Well, the other thing, yes, my friend Trey Jones would win the national championship, and he's been close, and he's been the model of consistency. So not only personally would I be excited for him, but obviously as an all, I'd be excited for him. That'd be awesome. And then obviously Coach Ham. I mean, that you're right. We would weep for Coach Ham. And the problem is, I mean, he's about to be 74. So like, this is it. Yeah, this is it. So honestly, you would definitely want that. But I can't do it, man. Football.
Sue would be like, really? Right when I walk away.
She'd still be happy for the programming. But I can't, man, with football. We know from being on the wrong side of stagnant that this doesn't play, man. You gotta have.
There are only so many coaching hot boards you can post. Yeah.
Somebody asked me on our trip, so what if it doesn't work out? Let's just presume for the moment that even if you argue, because I say this all the time. I brought this up to somebody one time. They're like, well, they're this coach and that coach, and who would you get? And all. I'm like, good coaches get fired all the time. And it happens all the time because there's more to being a head coach than just the X's and O's. You have to win in recruiting. You have to win in public relations. You have to win in fundraising. You have to win in so many arenas. That's why the guys are paid what they're paid at the Power 5 level, is because it's an 18 to 20 hour a day job. These days it's year round. You have to press the flesh. You have to win with boosters and alumni and the administration. You have to win in the athletic department. You have to win on the field. You have to win with recruits' parents. You have to win, period, all the time. And I'm sure it's exhausting, but we don't weep for them because they make a lot of money. I get it. because of that, good coaches, just in terms of football coaches, get fired all the time. And they fail in some capacity. A lot of guys have failed one place and turned around and won at another. It just worked out for them. The timing was better. Maybe their message resonated better, whatever it might be. Maybe they were taking over a program where the cupboard was full and they walked in, and because they were good football coaches, they were able to hit the ground running as opposed to having to detoxify the locker room and flip the roster, right? All of that stuff. So it's always more complicated than just the W's and L's, even though that at the end of the day is what gets a coach fired or not, typically, unless there's a crazy off-the-field scandal or something of that ilk. I wondered, the person said, well, what if he doesn't get it done? What if they do go 6-6 this year? What if at the end of the following year, he is a dead man walking and you got to let him go, even if you think he's a good coach? And that brought me to the point you've made before. In this day and age, would you rather, just understanding that the noise would be deafening around the program if a guy's steady going 5-7, 6-6, but would you rather just say, nope, I'm doubling down, I'm not starting over, I'm just going to get better players, and I'm going to give all that money I would to a new head coach to better players and get them to come?
Yeah, because I don't think we got money here for both.
No, we don't. At places like A&M, they do, right? But I'd still say no, Tom, because even with the money you'd be saving by reinvesting instead of a new coach and starting over, you give it to players instead. Those players aren't coming because somebody else in a similar predicament would have the same amount of money, if not more, and they would say, no, we'll give you even more. Like the guys that would flip your program, they would. So I would still say no to that. But, man, it is an interesting dilemma.
That's not the path we're walking, though.
It is not the path we're walking.
That's right.
It's Jeff Cameron, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
T-Spark Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Spark, T-SparkConstruction.com. We conquer all peaks. We fix those darn leaks. Call 850-766-1340. T-Spark Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Spark, T-SparkConstruction.com.
License number CCC 1331204.
Matt, when you think of a successful Southern cookout, what do you think of first?
The food, of course.
The food, but you got to think about the food prep. And Hearth and Patio has thought about that with their awesome grills.
What kind of grills?
Fire Magic, Broil Master, Blaze Grills, Kamado Joe. Matt, they got it all.
Wow.
Custom outdoor kitchens. Create an outdoor cooking space.
You'll be the envy of your neighborhood.
You will be the envy of your neighborhood, and you'll make a lot of people jealous. That's because you called Hearth and Patio at 850-727-4282. That's 850-727-4282. Or you can visit Hearth and Patio online at hearthpatiotallahassee.com.
It's a backyard barbecue party. What's Lee Holcomb's number one more time?
850-727-4282. That's 850-727-4282. The Hearth and Patio, they not only keep the home fires burning, Hearth and Patio will elevate your grilling game.
Nice.
Nice indeed.
Let's be honest, we all have way too much stuff. Maybe your storage closet is full, your garage is full, or the guest bedroom is a mess. Call Southeast Portable Buildings, 580-6400, or visit them online at southeastportablebuildings.com.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus, happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas Wall, featuring 560 inches of flat screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Hi, this is Justin Colvin, founder of the Medicare Help Desk. I routinely speak to seniors who are overwhelmed by the multitude of coverage options available to them. That's why I created the Medicare Help Desk radio show. Tune in every Sunday at 11:30 a.m., where I provide clear answers to all your questions about Medicare.
Physical stress on our bodies can take its toll as the years go by. Whether you're looking to get back into an old sport or just want to spend more time outdoors to explore all life has to offer in our beautiful city, the dedicated team at TOC is here for you every step of the way. You can trust TOC for all your orthopedic needs. And now, scheduling an appointment has never been easier. Just visit teamtoc.com and click schedule online. That's teamtoc.com.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
But I'll read it. I'm a sucker. It's a short segment. I ran along last time, so fine. We'll get to it. It's Jeff Cameron Show 93.3, Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV. Good to be with you on a Libations Friday, which, if I read this question, is truly a loosey-goosey edition of the program. Why does Jeff hate vegetables? R wants to know. The letter R. Why does Jeff hate vegetables? I don't hate vegetables. I don't know. Did that stem from something I asked or said before? I
didn't hear anything today. Director? No, he's shaking his head now.
I don't hate vegetables.
You hate cucumbers, though.
Whoa. With a passion. I hate cucumbers and I hate celery. I'm not a fan of celery. Two useless ass vegetables.
That's where it's good if we get wings together, because you'd be all carrots and I'd be all celery.
I'm all carrots at that point.
I don't eat carrots. I don't like carrots.
Well, fine, but celery is garbage. I'm not touching celery, and people say, well, you can't even taste a cucumber. You can't even taste the celery. Well, the hell you eating it then? Because you can. They do have a taste.
Fiber.
Oh, I just really need fiber with these wings. Please.
Oh, I thought you just meant in general.
No, I'm saying like, no. Who's going home like, hey, can't wait to sit down with some celery? Stop that nonsense. That's why you have to put everything on it, because it sucks. Oh, let's dip it in peanut butter or whatever. Yeah, man. No.
So if you're building an ideal salad, would you build it with iceberg lettuce, romaine lettuce, or spinach?
I like them all. I like to mix them up.
You do
I like all of them in there.
Do you like the garden variety?
Yeah, I do. I like them all. And I love spinach. Not as much raw spinach as cooked spinach. I love cooked spinach. Oh, sauteed spinach, forget about it. I buy those frozen. You know, those things are like $1 still. They were $1 when I was a kid. They're still $1. You get that cube of frozen spinach. You get the pan going.
Is that real? I had no idea that was a thing.
It's $1. Like $1.80, $1.60, whatever it is. Like, I get like 10 of those. My wife laughs at me. She goes,
Director's doing like a point to the sky, like he just made a birdie putt.
He knows.
Like, yeah, there it is.
I'm right. They're damn delicious. Get you a little, get you a little of that sea salt, maybe a little bit of butter. Oh, you saute that bad boy. Get about it.
What do you think Richard Simmons is singing in that animation that we put up on Warchant TV? Like, what word do you think he's singing?
Something lispy, but I don't know. I do not know, but something lispy is in all likelihood. But it makes me smile every time.
I like to think he's in the part of the FSU fight song as an old grad where he goes, fight, fight, fight.
Fight,
fight, fight.
Oh, man. All right, we'll get it together, kind of. Hour number 2. It's coming up. Jeff Cameron Show 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Chance to grow your green and win $1,000 cash plus a shot at a $10,000 grand prize. Here's your new keyword.
Debt. D-E-B-T. Debt. D-E-B-T. Debt.
Enter that word now at realtalk93.com, and you might be the next winner.
Sweet girl, thank you. Oh my God.
I just won $1,000.
Hey, this is Monica. Hey, this is Elizabeth, and I just won $1,000. All right.
More of the Jeff Cameron Show is coming up next after this town hall news break on WVFT, Gretna, Tallahassee.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. April was another good month for those seeking work.
The Labor Department says America's employers added 428,000 jobs last month, while the unemployment rate remained at 3.6%. The latest employment figures did contain a few cautionary notes. The government revised down its estimate of job gains for February and March by a combined 39,000, and the number of people in the labor force declined in April by 363,000, the first drop since September.
That's correspondent Jeremy House. Also at townhall.com, the UN continues working to evacuate civilians from the steel plant in Mariupol.
The authorities are telling us that it's reached its next phase. They haven't elaborated, but I think what we can take from that is that efforts are continuing today to try and get the estimated 200 civilians and 20 children still trapped in the Azovstal steel works, where what is looking like the last stand is taking place from those Ukrainian fighters. Mariupol is looking like it may finally fall in the coming days and weeks. It's a city that's been strategically significant in the eyes of the Russians since the start of this war.
BBC correspondent James Waterhouse with that report. A powerful explosion has damaged a five-star hotel in the Cuban capital, the Cuban government news agency ACN, publishing photos showing severe damage to the 96-room Hotel Saratoga in Old Havana. No word on injuries. On Wall Street, stocks swinging sharply. Wall Street struggling on how to interpret a strong U.S. jobs report amid worries that the Federal Reserve may cause a recession in its drive to halt inflation. The Dow is down 252 points now. The NASDAQ, 173 points lower. More at townhall.com.
There has been no evidence of widespread voter fraud.
The 2020 elections were one of the most corrupt in history. See the proof for yourself.
We tracked 2,000 mules making multiple ballot drops.
2,000 Mules, the shocking new movie from Dinesh D'Souza.
One mule made 53 trips to 20 drop boxes.
2,000 Mules. Join the special virtual premiere and Q&A on May 7th. Get your tickets now. Available only at 2000mules.com. 2000mules.com. Sponsored by Salem Media Group.
The word is out. People are abandoning their overpriced wireless carriers and flocking to Pure Talk for the same 5G coverage, but at a fraction of the price. In fact, the average family saves over $800 a year when switching from Verizon, AT&T, or T-Mobile. Get unlimited talk, text, and 6 gigs of data for just $30 a month. Go to puretalk.com, then enter promo code half off, and you'll save an additional 50% off your first month. That's puretalk.com, promo code half off.
Physical stress on our bodies can take its toll as the years go by. Whether you're looking to get back into an old sport or just want to spend more time outdoors to explore all life has to offer in our beautiful city, the dedicated team at TOC is here for you every step of the way. You can trust TOC for all your orthopedic needs. And now, scheduling an appointment has never been easier. Just visit teamtoc.com and click schedule online. That's teamtoc.com.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Broadcasting live from Florida's capital city, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on Real Talk 93.3. Now, stop what you're doing and listen closely. It's time for the Jeff Cameron Show in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Day for this weekend. Favorite sports memory involving your mother. I'll go first. So at a very early age, I learned that my mom was a passionate supporter of me and my brothers, because I could hear her in the beginning days, 6 years old, playing soccer, cheering if I did anything at all, like kick the ball. There was a very loud celebration of said moment. And then as the years advanced and the sports became bountiful, and I played just about everything, like a lot of kids, just season to season, playing everything, she never missed a game. And I'm forever grateful of that. I never realized it at the time, how that not everybody was that fortunate, So she was at every one of my games. I don't think she ever missed a game of any sport that I ever played, ever. But I remember in high school as a freshman playing football, and you get, you can get called up, and I got called up to varsity, and getting very excited about that moment, right? And I got in on special teams, and I was determined, despite weighing probably at that time 150 pounds, soaking wet, 160 pounds, whatever it was. I was like, I got to do something, because I'm not going to get in the game in ninth grade. I just got a chance to, like, not an actual offensive or defensive play, special teams. So I made a tackle. I was running down. I happened to make it. I just tripped the guy up, just barely got him. It was not even that great a play. I didn't break the wedge or anything like that. I used speed and got around the corner and tripped this guy up. And over the PA, they said the name, Jeff Cameron on the tackle. And I get, yay, Jeffrey! It echoed throughout the entire play, and I was mortified, the way you are in ninth grade of your parents, right? But, I mean, everybody could hear it for 4 blocks. And I look up kind of out of the corner of my eyes. I'm jogging off the field in the stands, and there she is celebrating. I think we were getting beat by 100. And it was just this.
Oh, her voice can carry. You Camerons, all of you.
Yes,
all of you.
Yes. So but at that time, I was mortified. But now I laugh and I smile and I think of how great that is. So, yeah.
I've got a kind of a sweet memory, and I won't get too emotional over it, but it was during COVID, and when the Lightning were about to win their first of 2 in a row. They were beating Dallas, and it was game 6. You could kind of count it down because they were up 2 goals. And I talked to my mom over the phone, and we were counting down the seconds, and she was counting it down. She was so excited. She got attached to that team in a very special way. I don't know why. It was out of nowhere. I'm like, man, Mom, you remember every detail of all these games. So when we had the chance, and we were lucky because we had a chance to close it out in overtime. That was the night that Mike Norvell had COVID, and we played Miami and got our asses handed to us down in that building 2 years ago. And thankfully, we lost that game so I could watch the full winning of the cup in game 6. And as the seconds are going down inside of 1 minute, Mom and I were just chatting. And we're like, we did it. They did it, Mom. And she was just so
satisfied.
Happy. Oh, I'll never forget that moment. Like,
those are great moments.
As a kid, there are all kinds of stuff. She's, Mama's part sports psychologist for all their kids. Like you're mad about a day or you're happy about something, like, hey, pump the brakes. You're not that great. Or if you had a really bad day, it's okay. You're a good player. But a recent memory is one of my favorites.
All right. So it is. Without getting sappy, we doff the cap and say we love you, moms everywhere. Great job, and happy Mother's Day to all of you in advance. Also, it is the Kentucky Derby this weekend, Saturday, May the 7th, Churchill Downs, of course. And who do you ask is going to win it? I have no idea. I just look at the names of the horses. I don't know if you do this at your household, but in my household, we gamble. I taught my kids at an early age that they should gamble their life savings away if possible. I didn't do that, but
because that's what living is.
Perhaps by example, they have seen me gamble. But we put together a little pool in the house in which the winner gets to pick where we go to dinner. That's how this works.
Nice.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah. So there it is.
The melting pot it is. Whoops. Wait a minute. They're not a sponsor.
But we throw that out there, and then you could look at the odds and you say, well, I think Zandon's going to win it all. Maybe you do. I don't know. But usually I think we all pick our favorite horse based on the name of the horse. And of course, the best part of the Kentucky Derby is, in fact, the names of the horses. It's not much else to it. I don't really care to watch it all that much. Doesn't interest me. I've never been fascinated by it. You know how there are sporting events when people say, well, before you die, you have to go and see the World Cup. You have to have participated in a Super Bowl or something like that. People usually will throw in the Kentucky Derby. Oh, before you go, you got to get to the Kentucky Derby. Don't care if I do or don't. Ever. I'd go, the right offer. Somebody said, hey, man, I'll put you up, come see it.
That's
see
a who's who, too. If you can get into a nice corporate spot, you'll see a lot of celebrities hobnob with Hall of Famers
That's
and stuff like that.
one of the reasons I kind of hate it. But anyhow, to be honest with you, I think I would do it if I'm not going to go out of my way. You and I, when the Lightning made it to the Stanley Cup Finals and we were working together in media, knew we had an opportunity to get press passes to see the Stanley Cup Finals. And not only was it a labor of love because we both root for and love the Lightning, but it was also a great opportunity to cover the Stanley Cup Finals and to say, as a media member, there you were covering the Stanley Cup Finals. And so we did that together, and I'll always remember it. I've been able to do that with a Super Bowl. I've been able to do that with a World Series. I've been able to do that with multiple national championship games, all those things. I have not done that with a Final Four because I was waiting for Florida State to get there, and I would like to. And I've never done it with an NBA Finals, and I still would like to do that. But a lot of people would say, would you want to go to the Kentucky Derby? Nah, not really. Don't care.
Yeah, I agree. The Ryder Cup was one of the big ones for me. Check that off the list. The Masters is on the list. You've been there, and you did it in a way that, I don't know, if you went back for a standard Saturday, you'd be like, this is not as good as
for which?
The Masters.
Oh, the Masters.
You can't do it better than you've done it already.
You can't. I think of
Short
myself,
of playing.
right. Yeah, no, I think of myself as incredibly fortunate for that moment. It's an amazing time. And if people ask me, the coolest thing you've ever been able to do because of the job that you have, I mentioned that Masters because I got to talk to Jack and the cabins, and that was different. That was amazing. Got between the ropes, that was a lot of cool shit.
A Mets World Series would be that is my golden goose now. Is like a World Cup you mentioned, I'm like, I don't know.
To cover it, to be there, to be in attendance.
But to be in attendance. I had tickets to Game 3 of the 2006 World Series. The only problem was Game 3 was in St. Louis. It was not in New York, so that didn't do me any good.
How did you have tickets to St. Louis?
No, because we lost Game 7 in 2006.
It's a toughie.
Andy Chavez made the catch. You think it's your year. You were wrong.
All-time great catch.
Aaron Heilman said, hell no.
Names of the horses. Mo Donegal, Happy Jack, Epicenter, Summer is Tomorrow. Great name. 30-1 odds. Summer is Tomorrow is not going to win. Smile Happy, Messier. Crown Pride.
Messier, like Mark Messier?
Yeah, I don't know if that is who owns the horse, but it stands to reason that perhaps.
Did they spell Messiah wrong?
Charge It, Tis the Bomb, Zandon, Simplification, Barber Road, White Alberio, Cyberknife, Classic Causeway, Tampa St. Pete, Tawny Port, Zosos, and Rich Strike. I got to tell you, as a collection of names, garbage. This is the worst we've had. Usually there's one where you're like, that is tremendous.
Cyberknife is kind of cool.
It's great. It's the clear winner.
I'll just ask our mutual friend, Aussie Pete. He bets on the ponies. Like, he knows what's going on different continents with horse racing. It's crazy.
Good. Well, he's Australian.
Yeah, but he would have a guess on this one.
I'll tell you this. The depth of knowledge about horse racing, horses in general, how they're bred,
a culture.
how they're trained, the all-time greats, the different races and tracks. Perhaps there aren't many people who know more than my father. He is a horse racing historian. He lived down in Hialeah, worked in Hialeah as a kid in high school. His family background is that of that they raised horses, not fabulously wealthy in any way or whatsoever. This was back at a time where that could happen. Nowadays, you can't really get in the horse racing game unless you have a gazillion dollars, so it would seem. But he had family members who did in the D.C. area and remembers it well. But for whatever reason, he's always loved just the history of the sport and how majestic horses are. They're beautiful creatures. And he can name, he'll be like, oh, in 1961, the fabulous Moolah raced and did this and this and that. It's like, what? That is really impressive, Dad.
That was before she knew Mark Henry.
Yeah, so it was always impressive, but
So at some point we're going to relaunch the Bellying Up venture. Here's a concept for one of those, though. Let the camera roll. Get your dad and Aussie Pete together.
And let him talk horse
case of
racing?
beer. Yes, and just let him go for like an hour. I'll bet that would be riveting. And I don't care about horse racing.
Bottom line is, if we're talking about fringe sports on a weekend where it would be okay to talk about fringe sports because really not a lot going on. Florida State's baseball series is a nothing series. I'm really just hyper-focused on the softball team getting back to the World Series and winning it. And so every weekend I just assume they're going to win because they're that kind of dominant. There's not, regular season Major League Baseball and the second round of the NBA playoffs. I can't spend the entirety of 2 hours on. I've talked some about it. Obviously, we've done plenty on what's going on in college football between visits in the portal, and we're all waiting anxiously to see which names come in. So this is really kind of the weekend where off-brand sports and sports talk you can get into, but I don't love the Kentucky Derby, won't pretend to know a ton about it. I do watch it, have a little fun with my family with it, but I don't care that much about it. I don't care about mint juleps. They suck.
They do.
They suck.
Yes.
They're terrible.
Yes, agreed.
I've done that 5 or 6 times. I've gone to parties where the mint juleps are flowing because it's a Kentucky Derby party. You drink them. You go, this thing sucks. Get it away from me. Anyhow, so
give me a mojito instead if we're going to do mint.
Anything better than this nonsense. So all of it. So it's tough. I just can't. What are you going to do? But where was I going with that? Oh, just stories and horses and all. Fringe sports, there are like probably 12 others that I would care to celebrate and talk about more than I would the Kentucky Derby. That's it.
Yeah, I agree. And with the softball venture, the super regional, as long as we're winning, we're going to host all the way through to Oklahoma City. That's Memorial Day weekend. I believe I read correctly on the schedule. So
nice.
Be wandering around the field, maybe that parking garage.
You have to, because it's going to be 157 degrees.
That's
and
right.
You'll be livid. Like I always
Bring a generator and a big fan.
You ever notice this? When we make the transition in Florida or the South in general from it's pleasant. So glad we live here. I've got a brother who lives in New Hampshire who I love dearly, and it was like snowing a week ago, and he's just, every year at this time, like, son of a, it's April. What are we doing out here with the snow? It's like 20 degrees. He's walking his dog, looking in the camera. He does this Marco Polo. We stay in touch that way. We talk to each other, and he'll be like, yeah, it's 22 here today. I'm like, whoo, that sucks for you. And then I'm a jerk, and I'll go, yeah, well, it's 71 here, beautiful, little breeze. It's going to be a good day. Tom and I are going golfing, that kind of thing, right? But when we transition, when we go from 77, nice little beautiful day to it's hot, there ain't no turning back now.
Yes.
The heat wave has been turned on, buddy.
And we're screwed because this was a really nice spring. It lasted a long time, well into April. And actually, it might have, a couple of those mornings to begin this month were not terrible, which means that it will be November, late November, before we get to that kind of weather again.
Yes.
Yeah, we're kind of screwed on all of football season.
For all of
every Saturday.
For all of the disappointment that our northern friends feel on a regular basis regarding cold-ass weather for way too long periods of time, I would say that we are envious when football season begins, and by mid-October, you see gentlemen in the stands wearing sweatshirts and the like as they attend a Big Ten game or really anywhere else, say out in the Pac-12, whatever. You're like,
yeah, that's the only good thing about.
That wouldn't suck.
It's the only good thing about those noon kickoffs in the Big Ten.
Yeah,
you get to see the cold
you
weather.
You live vicariously through them. You're like, look at that. That guy's, hey, she's got a scarf on. It must be, yeah. But with us, we're like, yeah, it's October. It's 96. The hell did we do? Deserve this nonsense. Sitting out here.
We got a taste of that in Dothan.
Kickoff.
Because Dothan's about 4 or 5 degrees warmer up there than it is here.
Which it was this past week. Yes, for no damn reason. Plus, you're in Dothan. It's a good thing the course is gorgeous and we had such great company and people to play with, because otherwise you're in Dothan and it's 95. And you're like, Jesus, what are we doing in Dothan with this heat? It's a toughie.
Making putts. I think one of the guys in our group, did you see they had a fan? They put it on the steering wheel. I think it was in our group. So there's like a giant cooling fan and they had it attached. So it's got its own power supply.
Yeah.
Would you do that in a golf cart? I feel like that's just.
No.
Now you're just teasing me.
Well, I'm a grown man. I can handle the heat. We don't need it.
After all that,
Yeah.
well, still,
I mean,
you got to be in it.
Just buck up. You let it wash over you.
Oh yeah.
You complain. You get one complaint. It's at the beginning. It's early.
And for you, it's a
hearty one. It's a hearty one.
It's a GD bomb always.
Well,
minus 5,000.
Just so you know, Tom and I are walking to the car. This is what he's talking about when we golf together in the dead of summer. Notice we don't abscond from. We get out there. We're not adverse to golfing, I should say, in the hot weather. But I have to be permitted the opportunity to lay down with a series of.
It's usually the second or the third tee.
Yeah, it's never the first tee.
Yeah.
I've already mentally prepared myself for what's about to happen when we step out there, and I'm like, woo.
Because it's so hot, you can hear it.
Yeah.
It's got a sound.
And that's usually me kind of like, all right, let that wash over you there for a second.
You look around before.
Feel
it's
that.
a pattern. You look around.
I didn't know I did that.
You look around
It's
either
like
side.
I'm looking for respite.
And then, with a GD bomb.
Well, usually it's a GD. It is effing da-da-da-da. And then you're usually smiling. Like,
I'm over the ball.
Well, you're
I'm like,
usually like, yeah, that was coming. We are on hole 3. He got through 2.
Right.
Without stating the obvious
GD
loudly.
bomb for the heat on 2 and then a bomb on 18T from you. You can book those two things.
It's going to happen.
Always.
Yeah. I'm going to hit a drive further than I've hit any drive of the day on number 18. It's the freedom that comes with it doesn't matter anymore. And it's just whoosh. You're like, where the hell was that? I left that back on 11 on that when I threw up that 7. That was it. It's the Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
You were always more than my mom. You were my role model, my best friend, and biggest supporter. You filled my days with unconditional love. And you also prepared for the day when you couldn't be here. Because of the woman you were back then, I'm able to be the woman I am now. Your planning made this moment possible.
Set your family up for life. Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance. Your friends for life.
This is Andy Cohen. When I was a law enforcement officer, I devoted my life to a career of service and protection. Who's protecting you? Give me a call. 850-671-FARM. That's 671-FARM. Helping you is what we do best.
Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance Company, Jackson, Mississippi. Not licensed to do business in all 50 states.
Hi, this is Justin Colvin, founder of the Medicare Help Desk. I routinely speak to seniors who are overwhelmed by the multitude of coverage options available to them. That's why I created the Medicare Help Desk radio show. Tune in every Sunday at 11:30 a.m. where I provide clear answers to all your questions about Medicare.
This is Patty Wilson.
Oh, I'm sorry. We're ready.
He's recording.
Why are you always saying your last name? It's Patty and Scott. Everybody knows Patty and Scott.
I don't know. This is Patty Wilson. I am Patty Wilson.
What is the idea behind said promo?
It's for Patty's Playhouse. We're on Patty's Playhouse Saturdays at 11. Tune in. That's stupid. Just tune in. Saturdays at 11. Patty Wilson, Patty's Playhouse. House talk with a happy ending.
Each and every time.
When I get home from work, I'm ready to relax. So I call Swain Pools and Spas and put my pool in the back. I call Swain Pools and Spas. Now I'm soaking up the fun when I want to.
Truckloads of new and used Caldera and Hot Spring Spas are available now at Swain Pools and Spas. Don't wait. Get to Swain Pools and browse the best inventory to find the spa of your dreams. These won't last long, so come see us today. Just look for the huge sign on Tharp Street or call 386-7113 for Swain Pools and Spas.
I know what you're thinking right now. Where can I find a place to get my car fixed and also check out some awesome new hot tubs and spas while I wait? Well, you're in luck. Because when you bring your car or truck in to get serviced at Tallahassee Car Care, it's under the same roof as Swain Pools and Spas for tires, brakes, bodies, tune-ups, oil changes, and all the service you need to get back on the road. Choose the certified technicians at Tallahassee Car Care. Drop by our shop on Tharp Street or visit online at TallahasseeCarCare.com.
Applications, onboarding, payroll, termination. Business owners and managers, you know these are the processes that take away too much time from what you do best. But what if there was a locally owned, responsive solution that would charge you a fraction of the big national payroll companies? Sound too good to be true? It's not. North Florida Payroll Services is Tallahassee owned for nearly 15 years. And in that time, their prices have never changed. The reason North Florida Payroll Services can do that? Exceptional customer service that constantly evolves with the latest technology. From application to termination, for turnkey service for your payroll and HR services, trust a Tallahassee expert and save yourself time and money. North Florida Payroll Services. Online at northfloridapayroll.com.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
Order to do that comfortably, you can't be a fat ass. Got to get it together. Got to get it together. And that's why, as you just heard, you should make a run over to Orange Theory Fitness, of which there are 2 in town. Say hello. Say, I'm tired of being a little bit hefty. Got to get it together. Let's get one of those workouts in, and you'll see science-backed technology that not only tracks exactly what you're doing, but it is the impetus for the kind of success you're looking for. It holds you accountable, but it is measurable, and that matters. You can watch your fitness improve along the way, and it happens pretty rapidly. That's what the heart rate monitor shows you. You'll get a month free with the purchase of a heart rate monitor as well. The first class, by the way, is always free. So I would advise you, as I have and so many others have, to join the cult. It's a good cult. It's not the kind that's going to poison you out in the middle of nowhere. No, instead, you're going to get healthier. You're going to do the right things. Good times. Orange Theory Fitness. Don't forget that first class. You want to ease whatever fears you may have away, whatever concerns you have. That first class is free. It'll let you know what it's all about, and you'll see it's highly supportive, well coached. Orange Theory Fitness.
I'm tired of being a little hefty. Sounds like a great comedy special, doesn't it?
The name of a band.
Yeah.
Or just a one-off comment as you're eating something you ought not. Boy, I'm tired of being a little hefty. I'll have to make some changes after I get done eating this ice cream.
On the morrow. Never today.
Yeah. Sweet tooth. I don't have one, but I do have guilty pleasures, beers being often high on that list. But if I can give up, I don't care about cake. Don't really care about cookies. Do like ice cream and pie. Not together necessarily, but I do like ice cream and pie.
Is there something that every once in a while you just have a random craving for that you've got to have that is a sweet? For me, it's M&Ms. Every once in a great while, just old school plain M&Ms.
You think to yourself, I want some M&Ms.
Yeah, it's like once a year, but I got to have them. So I'm that guy at the grocery checkout who grabs a bag of M&Ms.
Huh. No, Reese's peanut butter cups would be the answer if I'm going to buy candy. And I don't ever buy candy. I really don't. I'll buy it for my kids or something, but I don't ever think, oh, I got to have. If you have Reese's, if somebody says, hey, you want a peanut butter cup? All right, yeah, I'll have a peanut butter cup. But I don't really buy them.
It's also comforting around the holiday season to have the green and red M&Ms. Just, you don't have to eat them if they're just,
seeing them?
Yeah, if they're around somewhere in the house.
Also, the miniature Reese's peanut butter cups are really good. So you see where I go.
Yeah.
It's the Reese's peanut butter cups.
And you and a root beer every once in a great while. You are so thrilled. We're like, I'm going to have a root beer. And you say that to the waitress, and she's like, okay, fine.
Yeah.
But you're like, I'm announcing.
Once in a great while.
Yeah.
And when I do, I celebrate it. It is the only moment of weakness involving a soda. I don't care about a Dr. Pepper, a Coke, a Sprite, you name it. Don't care at all. Haven't had sodas in ages, but every now and then a root, and it needs to be a fountain.
Yes, correct.
Has to be a fountain root beer. And so every once in a while, I'll say, "Oh, buddy, we're getting crazy. We're living high on the hog today. Gonna get us a big old root beer."
Did you ever do a root beer float as a kid?
did back in the day. Hey, I told you when I used to work at the Don Cesar, I would make myself all sorts of combinations of ice creams and sodas and things in an effort to gain weight. I can't believe what I was able to get away with my senior year in high school, trying desperately to gain weight. My goal was to be 220 pounds before I went off to ETSU. And I was lifting every day and doing all the things that you're supposed to do the right way, except for when I worked, which was just piles of ice cream and hot fudge sundaes, everything under the sun, because A, you're working out incessantly. Also, you got the metabolism of a 16, 17-year-old kid. You can eat anything you want. It's hard to gain weight. I miss those days desperately. I would have banana splits the size of Texas.
Those were good days, man, because I was like you in that I was so active. I wasn't a kid who was inside always playing video games. I do that at night when the sun was down, but I'd skate 2 hours a day in my driveway playing hockey, and I'd walk golf courses. I wasn't old enough to drive, and I would eat everything. And it's funny now because my nephews are on the Xbox, and we get together once a week, and they're always like munching on something. I'm like, what are you eating now? Like, they just go meal to meal to meal. It's 1 hour. And half the time when they're commenting, they're like, well, yeah, you see the guy around the corner there. I'm like, what are you eating now? He goes, oh.
It's amazing.
Yeah. Well, I made a cake. I'm having a cake. Like, didn't you just have steak? He's like, yep, I'm having a cake now.
If you want to have fun, go to the questions segment of Ask Andy from, I think it's The Athletic. The reason I bring this up just to make you laugh, is this is frequently a question that people have. And Schadenfreud's very real, especially in the offseason when you're talking about what is or isn't and what you hope for, not just your own team, but what kind of fate befalls the others, And one of the first questions is this one, which I'll read just to say aloud because it makes me laugh. But I actually am curious what you think, because I haven't really decided what I think, and I am curious what our chat folks think about this as well. What is more likely? Texas A&M failing yet again to meet high expectations over the next few years, or Texas exceeding expectations over the next few years? Now, that's a good question for a lot of reasons. Texas, which did not have a single player drafted in the NFL draft the other day, which is really hard to imagine.
Unbelievable.
It is unreal.
Yes. Yeah. That's an overused word, but that is unbelievable.
It is unbelievable. How does Texas, of all places, teams, organizations, regions, not have a player draft? Now, I'll grant you, we had one, but it's still one. It's still one. It ain't none.
I could only choose one.
But they had none. Moreover, Texas just on the regular. I don't know how many times in the last 10 years you and I watching a game, either together or you call me and we're talking about the games that are coming up, what angle we have to bet, what player has shined, what we expect for an opponent of Florida State. Now, somewhere in there, the conversation shifts to, can you believe Texas lost today to Texas Tech by 14 at home? Like, that conversation happens all the time. We're like, dude, TCU beat the brakes off of Texas today, where we're just like, just blown away by the ineptitude.
The Alabama pregame show, the Slammer, when we were in Atlanta. You were, and I was back in Tallahassee.
Yeah.
You were like, oh, I see that Maryland is destroying Texas.
So
like,
that made you laugh. God. Yeah. And that was the early game. Yep. And I was like, Maryland is just boat racing Texas, Tom. And at that time, I felt bad because Stephanie, of course, not Stephanie, sorry, Jamie was going to Texas. And I was kind of like, so in your household, there's a little soft spot for Texas.
So yeah.
So it's kind of like,
it's a B team in the household. It's got its own due because of the year that she had there working for him.
Yeah.
But yes, they know September pains like we do. They are very much the same as we are. Where September, it's over.
Except
grand
we've
opening,
had
grand closing.
Championships along the way.
Yeah,
they have a whole lot of nothing.
That's true.
Like, other than Vince single-handedly winning a championship.
It would have been interesting if Colt McCoy didn't.
Coach.
If Colt McCoy didn't get hurt. He did. It was Garrett Gilbert.
That's what happens when you're tiny. But now here's what I would tell you. Now,
what was the question though? It's Texas A&M.
Yeah. failing to meet high expectations over
Okay.
the next few years, or Texas exceeding expectations over the next few years. And listen, I do think with Texas, and I did not believe that team would continue to suffer going into last year. You make the change at coach, you think, okay, they'll move in the right direction. Bijan Robinson is one of the best running backs in the country. First of all, that's another side note. If you're a Texas fan out there and we're just talking college football at large, he's going to get drafted. So that streak is over, but he's a really good player. I just didn't think they would stink like they did. A&M, it's very strange. This is national title or bust. It's the only reason they brought him in. It's the only reason they overpaid for him. It's the only reason they overpaid in the extension. It's the only reason that they paid for that recruiting class that he's offended by when you ask him. It's the only reason, all of it. And yet, the numbers tell me that they're going to compete for the West. And if you can compete for the West of the SEC, you can win a national championship. I don't know about this year, but next year, year after.
You could even go to the playoff without winning it, West.
Well, you have that many good players. And you and I don't believe Jimbo to be incompetent. So, listen, if you have that many good players, it's almost like, that is, you are so insulated and protected by the fallback to a 5-star that no matter what you're doing to screw things up, bigger, stronger, faster, at some point, all adds up to, I'll make the play anyhow.
Right. It's like automatically 8 wins. So what do you do with the other 4 games?
Yeah.
When you have that level of talent.
Well, and also it's like, I go back to the Florida State Auburn national championship game and the fake punt. When you go back and watch the video of that, they knew it was coming. How could you not? The whole stadium did. I'm telling you, we're like, oh, come on, you got to fake this. You can't not. So everybody knows the kid that recognizes it for Auburn is a half step too late to get to the corner. But it's Carlos Williams, one of the freakish athletes to ever step foot on a college football field, right? That kid could have been standing over there and he wasn't going to make that play because Carlos Williams.
Yeah, would have just trucked him anyway.
If you have that many good players who are bigger, stronger, faster, at some point you can it's the Randy Moss effect. I used to say it all the time. I'm telling you, downtown to Moss, triple covered. Good luck. He's going to go up and catch it.
One of my favorite touchdowns in FSU lore is one that won't ever make a highlight reel. It's against Duke and the Dead Fish that year in the ACC championship game, where Jameis hands the ball to Carlos and his hands are immediately up for a touchdown from like the 8-yard line. Carlos hasn't gotten to the line of scrimmage. Usually your hands are up if you're throwing the ball as a quarterback. His hands are up because Carlos is about to destroy dudes and destroy him.
He just knows.
Carlos did. Yeah, James.
Bigger and stronger equals screw you. Almost always.
So the answer here is correct from get down or lay down. It's Texas A&M failing because the expectations are unreal. Like if the question was worded, what's more likely, A&M loses 3 games or Texas exceeds expectations, I think that becomes an interesting debate. But if you're talking about failing expectations, when it's win it all or you're a loser, A&M is the easy choice in that question.
Yeah, because they could go 10-2 and it would be seen as a failure because they really are national championship or bust. You have to be at that kind of money. And I'm not just talking about the head coach, the kind of money they're throwing at players. This is, look, we want to win a damn national championship. Where it hurts them or where it potentially becomes an Achilles heel, with the weight of that, Jimbo has never done a good job of masking stress and not showing it to his players. That is an area of weakness. He has plenty of areas of strength, but there are areas of weakness, and that is for every coach, right? That is a guy who has a terrible poker face, and when stressed or frustrated or even, God forbid, confused by something, he wears it. It is evident to all in the room in the moment. And if you have the expectations of those rabid, insane, fairly twisted fan base and fans with all of the money and everything else, plus the height of competition in the West of the SEC, you get to the middle of the third quarter and it's 13-all against Mississippi State in a game you're favored by 14.5. You start to feel that just a little bit more.
You're at home.
Yeah.
So, that turns a little bit more.
And just you feel it. And then when you look to the sidelines and your head coach's beady eyes are shifting all over the place about why, how is this happening?
hands on his head because the throw was just too long, incomplete. You know,
Yeah, it
you
was
could
the
tell,
right call.
Yeah,
It was a touchdown,
and
but he missed him.
You could tell how important that play was to him. It affected him that he did not execute that play.
Well, because he knows it was the right call. They have it dialed up against the right look, and that's the coverage. And before the snap, he's like, this is it. This is a touchdown right here. This is going to change the game. Oh, he missed it. And that's the human element that is infuriating to him.
It's the guy who gets affected by the lip out, the 4-footer. Like some dudes are like, I'm pissed. Others are shaken by it, and they go, oh, no, it's possible to lose.
I had a lip out when we played yesterday, Tom, on about a 12-foot putt that I could not have struck any better. It was in the mouth until the last second. I don't know if it hit an ant or what, but it just turned and then did a whole loop-de-doo around the hole, and I was just forced to stare longingly.
Those were some tough edges there.
I just kind of
at RTJ.
went, okay, that's what we're doing out here today. Okay.
Let me ask you that revised question, though. What's more likely, A&M loses 3 games or Texas exceeds expectations?
Yeah, I'd have to go to Texas's expectations in the sense that I don't know what they are. When you're coming off of the season they had, which wasn't good, again, what are their expectations? You got to define your terms. You tell me that they win 8 games? I don't know about all that. I'd have to really delve deep into the roster, and when we preview the Big 12, we will.
That'll be a question that we need to bookmark then. Is it like Longhorns 10 wins or Aggies 3 losses? That kind of a thing. What's more likely?
The Longhorns aren't winning 10 games. I can tell you that now. So that's not happening. You're not going from sub 500 to winning 10 games. They're not doing that.
9 versus 3, whatever it is, because both are unlikely.
I think Texas A&M, I'm taking the over on Texas A&M's total, Dan. They're going to win 10 games. I think they're going to go 10-2. They've got a shot. That is a good football team with a ton of athletes, and the way that schedule shakes out. Listen, they got Miami early.
Yeah, they play Miami on the 17th.
Yeah, they're going to hammer Miami. And then from there, we get what? Go through that. I'll give you W's and L's for Texas A&M right now.
All righty, without the sounder.
Yeah, we don't need the sounder for Texas A&M.
So it's Miami on Saturday, September 17th.
A win against Miami.
Then they're playing Arkansas.
Now that's a
Jerry's
deal.
world because Jerry loves him some.
Great game. I still like A&M there.
At Mississippi State, October 1st.
Whom they lost to a year ago inexplicably at A&M, by the way. They lost that game. That is that's what we're talking about. That's the head scratcher.
Yes, it's an interesting place on the schedule, too, because the next week they're at Alabama.
Yeah, they're going to lose to Alabama soundly, but they'll beat Mississippi State this year. So I got them at 3-1. Go ahead.
Okay. Their first 2 games are Sam Houston and Appy State.
So 5-1 at this point, yeah.
Bye week after Bama, and then they go to South Carolina.
A tricky game for them. They should win it. I still don't love South Carolina's offense. I'll give A&M the win there.
Interesting that they don't play at home from September 17th as their final home game. Their next home game is October 29th against Ole Miss.
With that defense, they ought to have enough, and Matt Corral's gone from Ole Miss. I like A&M to win that game at home.
Yeah, again, it's at home. Next week at home, they host the Gators. That was their cross this year.
Yeah, they'll beat Florida.
On the road at Auburn the next week.
They've struggled with Auburn before, but the Auburn program is a mess right now. I would think that they are at peak hysteria by that time. They're going into the season where nobody wants the head coach to be there. So because of that kind of dysfunction, I like A&M.
All righty. UMass tune-up the next week.
Yep. No Walt Bell to kick around.
That's right. And it's LSU. And that game is at home this year for Texas A&M.
Yeah. See what I mean? That's 10 wins. They're going to get to 10 wins.
Yep.
The sure loss is the Alabama game, even though they beat Alabama a year ago. Alabama will circle that. That is in Tuscaloosa. They're going to win that game. But there's a couple of, don't fool around. South Carolina is one of those. Arkansas is one of those. But again, it's hard. I mean, with that talent, it's hard not to see them winning 10 games. But it'd be funny if they didn't.
Well, even 10-2 is a disappointment, though.
I guess, but
they got to win at least 11.
No, but I'd say that's the first. If they go 10-2, that is the first evidence that they are taking big steps forward towards an 11-1, 12-0 type season. I don't. Tommy Guns, we're going to go ahead and bet A&M's going to win more than 7 games, and they're going to beat Miami.
What? I'm not looking at the chat. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that's what he wrote.
Let's get that bet like real money right now. Put it in escrow with me.
Yeah, I want that bet. Jeff Cameron Show 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
A Tallahassee teen has been found guilty of the murder of another teen outside the Regal movie theater in 2019. On September 9th of 2019, Goja Porter shot the victim twice and ran away after an argument in the parking lot of Regal Cinemas at Governor Square Mall. The victim was pronounced dead on the scene. Both Porter and the victim were 16 at the time. The two weren't friends but knew each other through social media. The state played a jail phone call during trial in which Porter performs a rap bragging about the murder. If convicted, Porter faces a sentence of 25 years to life in prison. A $28 million customs facility will break ground at Tallahassee International Airport on May 17th. The facility is part of the city's 5-year plan to improve the airport's infrastructure, allowing it to accommodate international flights. The airport would also be able to receive goods from and send them to other countries with the new facility. The city expects the global gateway to be ready for service in 2024. The groundbreaking ceremony will take place at 10 a.m. on May 17th at the airport terminal. This is Rachel Lene with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Overcast skies this afternoon with a chance for scattered storms. Daytime highs approaching 84. Winds out of the southwest 10 to 15 miles per hour. Partly cloudy skies tonight. Chance for scattered thunderstorms. Lows level off around 67. Mainly clear skies and quiet tomorrow. Highs level off around 86. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 75.
This is Kyle, service manager from Barano Heating and Air. Schedule an appointment from your mobile device to learn about our Total Comfort Service Program. With guaranteed same-day service, 15% off necessary repairs, and $25 berry bucks to use towards air filters and other products. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Barano Heating and Air. Any day, anytime, anywhere. Online at baranoac.com.
Florida license CAC 1816-186.
Well. Hey, Jeff, look at this place.
Yeah. Well, doing well. It's been a while since I've seen you, brother, but, it hasn't been a while since I've been over to Gordo's. I go there on the regular because of you, Eddie.
Well, we keep you regular.
Well, that's true, but I think of Gordo's as a place to sit down, have a cold beer, talk to your friends, enjoy the sports, eat the delicious food. But I think of you as Uncle Eddie, a man who takes care of his people and takes care of the town.
I appreciate that, Jeff. Hey, and we'll keep you regular.
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Here's what you missed on the Greg Tish Show.
A woman only identified as Mrs. Wong posted on Chinese social media she had gotten locked down after a first blind date. She discovered that their date's community had gone into swift lockdown after visiting his house for a meal.
This absolutely has to become a romantic comedy. Lockdown Love. He was looking for Mrs. Right, but he found Mrs. Wong.
Lockdown. Starring Matthew McConaughey. All right.
The Greg Tish Show, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m., only on Real Talk 93.3.
Matt, when you think of a successful Southern cookout, what do you think of first?
The food, of course.
The food, but you got to think about the food prep. And Hearth and Patio has thought about that with their awesome grills.
What kind of grills?
Fire Magic, Broil Master, Blaze Grills, Kamado Joe. Matt, they got it all.
Wow.
Custom outdoor kitchens. Create an outdoor cooking space.
You'll be the envy of your neighborhood.
You will be the envy of your neighborhood, and you'll make a lot of people jealous. That's because you called Hearth and Patio at 850-727-4282. That's 850-727-4282. Or you can visit Hearth and Patio online at hearthpatiotallahassee.com.
It's a backyard barbecue party. Let's Lee Holcomb's the number one more time.
850-727-4282. That's 850-727-4282. The Hearth and Patio, they not only keep the home fires burning, Hearth and Patio will elevate your grilling game.
Nice.
Nice indeed.
The Jeff Cameron Show is sponsored by the legendary team at Hamilton Home Loans. Great rates, cutting-edge technology, and transparent communication is the recipe for a 5-star mortgage experience at FSUHomeLoans.com.
All of the articles you want about Dabo Swinney's brother getting busted in a child sexual exploitation investigation. And, I appreciate your efforts to get me to talk about this. It's an ugly, ugly charge, obviously, but there's no way I can talk about Dabo Swinney's brother being charged with child sexual abuse. There's just no good way for me to mention Coach Swinney's brother involved in a case like this. It is ugly. I don't know what I would say other than to mention that Dabo Swinney's brother is charged in a child sex exploitation ring. It's an awful thing. It is noted. Thank you for sending it to me. I don't have a take on Dabo Swinney's brother being charged with exploiting children sexually. There's no way that I can't formulate an opinion other than to say I'm appalled as anybody would be reading about Dabo Swinney's brother being arrested for exploiting children sexually. I can't imagine what the Sweeneys, Dabo Swinney, and the rest of the Sweeneys think about their family member being arrested on charges of sexual exploitation of children. So I don't know what you want me to do with the charge of sexual exploitation involving children in the Swinney family. We're going to move forward from that, Tom. There's just no good way for me to discuss it.
Take the high road, dude.
Got to take the high road on that one. Probables. And away we go. Fire it up, good sir.
It's time for, how you say, with the pitching, probables?
Brought to you by North Florida Payroll Services. Locally owned for nearly 15 years, offering payroll and HR services, including full online applicant onboarding and integration into payroll. Save your company money and headaches today at northfloridapayroll.com. Boom, boop, boop, doop, boop, doop, doop, doop. Pirates, Reds. Two juggernauts going at it. Jesus, the Reds are 3-22. Did I see that correctly?
That is correct. That is not a misprint.
There's a certain amount of pressure that falls on you when facing the Cincinnati Reds at Great American Ballpark, and that is don't lose to the Reds. But we're throwing JT Brubaker. That's our gift to you, Cincinnati. Connor Overton will go for the Reds. He hasn't been bad, one of the few. Royals, Orioles, Carlos Hernandez, Jordan Lyles.
The Reds need to get Patty Gasso. That's what they need to do. They'll be right as rain.
Blue Jays, Guardians, Kevin Gossman, Shane Bieber. White Sox, Red Sox, Vince Velasquez, and Nathan Eovaldi. Brewers, Braves, Eric Lauer, Jesse Chavez. Tigers, Astros, Bo Brisky. New to the rotation here. Luis Garcia.
Just sounds like you have a weird like waiter or waitress in a brisket place, and they say it weird.
Like,
would you like some brisket? Brisket, yeah, I'll have some brisket.
I like brisket. It's good.
One brisket.
One brisket coming up. I can't wait to have the brisket. Man. A's, Twins, Cole Irvin, Josh Winder.
You like it, a brisket?
Nats, Angels, Joan Adong. Oh. His name's Joan. Angels don't know who they're going to throw, but they know who they were throwing against Boston. Woo! Shohei with a little get you. Rockies, D-backs, Chad Kuhl. Formerly of the Pittsburgh Pirates, Chad Kuhl's now 3-0 with a 1.90. Oh. God, dog, man. Merrill Kelly will pitch for the D-backs. Rays, Mariners, Matt Whistler, Logan Gilbert. Marlins, Padres, Sandy Alcantara, and Yu Darvish. Cards, Giants, Jordan Hicks, Alex Cobb. Dodgers, Cubs, Tyler Anderson, and TBD. You guys got postponed. Phillies are probably happy, I would think, that they can't blow a 6-run lead in the ninth tonight. Would have been Max Scherzer, so they were not apt to have a 6-run lead in the ninth tonight.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah. And the Rangers and the Yankees also got postponed because that's a shame. Glenn Otto of Glen Otto is set to pitch tonight for the Rangers. Welcome to Glen Otto. I'm Glen Otto. Garrett Cole was going to pitch for the Yankees, the better of the two. And that is a look at those that shall reside on the bump.
Right there as the song ended. You got it.
Oh, man. Where were you watching, Director Matthew, as the 6-run lead, seemingly statistically insurmountable,
He's refused the mic, so I will be his speaker box.
Yeah, where were you watching as all 6 runs evaporated and eventually the go-ahead run as one Starling Marte, formerly of Pittsburgh Pirates, provided the final blow? Where were you? Were you at home?
So he tells me he was at his home and he did watch all the way to the bitter end.
Well, what happens when that kind of collapse begins to occur? You can't take your eyes off the car wreck. You're like, oh, I see what's happening here. Because usually they're littered with oddities, such as a borderline pitch going the wrong way. There's usually, oh, what a good, off the end of the bat falls between 4 people.
Yeah.
Oh, really? That's going to get down. Is it okay?
Canna hit one off the pitcher's leg.
Oh,
and beat out an infield single.
I saw that. That was a well-hit ball, at least.
Yeah. But I think they were shifting and they had it.
They had it.
Yeah.
No, a little unlucky.
Damn shame.
Yeah. Then there's usually okay. Then there's a double in the gap. So now we're within a grand slam. Okay, well, we could be hurt, but they still have to load the bases.
Keep throwing strikes. Keep throwing strikes.
Yeah, just throw strikes. Oh, that ball's gone. That ball was pissed on. Okay, that gets interesting. Now you're sitting around. Okay, what do we do here? All right, well, that's a walk. That's what you don't do. It's within 3 and there's a walk. Don't do that. Okay, now we're going to get another pitcher. I see where it is. Here, we're going to give the lefty. Double down the line. Oh, second and third. Still nobody out, and they're within 3. Great. Now what do? Do we intentionally load the bases here and hope for no grand slam? Yeah, let's do that and see if we can get a double play. Oh, that one. There's the CNI single. Great. 2 runs just scored. We're going to lose. I know that now. I've established now we're going to lose, but I'm going to sit through all of this.
WWPGD. What would Patty Gasso do? That's what Joe Girardi should have asked himself. He would have gotten out of it.
It's brutal when you watch the untangling, the mess of it all, and you're firmly entrenched for it all. You're like, I'm going to see this through. I want to know that I was there for this kind of a collapse.
It kind of bonds you to your team in a way.
Yeah, you're like, I'm here for you. We're going to go through this together. Good work out of you. Good work, Matthew. Be well, everybody. Have a great weekend. Happy Mother's Day, and we'll talk to you on Monday.